finally, as a family, the three of us back together again for you guys. I know it's been like a long awaited reunion with YouTube for us to all three be sitting together in a video.
Yeah, the reason for that is because I work night shift, so it's kind of hard for us to align schedules and to be able to record a video at the same time. I was also sick, so was Olivia, so we want to thank everyone for the warm wishes and wishing us well on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. So thank you very much. We appreciate that.
This has been like a really horrible flu season. Like, you know, the both of them very sick. It was rough, and it was hard seeing the both of them sick. It was a little bit rough, but we're back together again, and basically this is our video, part 2 of how we had this beautiful young girl right here, Olivia, and I'm not going to hold you guys hostage.
No, we will be playing.
Yes, they're going to be playing while I go through the motions of exactly. Let's get started. Basically, if you watched part 1 of our TTC video, you will know that in January, all we did was just go to our GYN doctor for a little bit of some guidance. And then in February, we went to go see the fertility specialist, where all we did was just go over what is to come and how we would be able to achieve a successful pregnancy. The fertility specialist, he did want me to start right away, my first cycle in March, but Denise and I weren't so anxious or ready to start right away. I personally, being the scientist that I am, I'm very methodical. I wanted to figure out first exactly when do I ovulate. What day of my cycle do I ovulate? So I used all of February and all of March to figure out exactly what day I ovulate. And I guess I can just briefly go over a little bit of how that I have to share with you guys is a website that I used for the entire journey of trying to figure out ovulation, the different signs of ovulation, what days am I the most fertile. It's a website called, which I'm going to make it appear right here, it's called fertilityfriend.com. Ladies, go on this website, get on this website. It breaks every single thing you need to know about how to track when you ovulate and when you are fertile as can be. It literally has tutorials, it has charts and graphs that you can set up personally for yourself. I can't rave enough about this website and how much it helped me, and it really answers a lot of your questions. It goes through all the abbreviations of the whole fertility world. There's forums, there's other people's charts. I mean, there's so much on this website. You definitely have to check it out. So let me just start off. Here I'm going to show you a chart that I had pulled off of the website to be able to explain to you the different stages we go through. Basically, if you have a normal cycle, it will roughly last you between 1 to 28 days. So you have a 28-day cycle. There are 3 phases, ladies, that we have in our cycle. We have our menses stage, which is the stage where obviously we're menstruating and we're on our period, and that's where we tell our partners to please stay away from us. We're a little bit cranky right now. And then we have the follicular stage. The follicular stage is usually the stage right before we ovulate. So our body is preparing us for that moment of ovulation. And then you have the luteal stage, which is basically the part where it's after you've ovulated. So in between, obviously, is that 1-day period of when you ovulate, and that is the day that you are trying to figure. So basically, ladies, our bodies go through certain signs and signals to let you know when you're going to ovulate, which is this chart here that I have for you guys. Different things that you can chart to be able to figure out what day of your cycle you ovulate is first documenting your temperature of your body, which is also called the basal body temperature. This is something that you would have to check your temperature every morning before you even lift a finger out of that bed to note your temperature. Again, you can go on this website and it'll explain in great details everything I'm about to say to you. So basically, I documented and charted my temperatures for the full 28-day cycle. Another thing that you can also document is your cervical mucus. Your cervical mucus is another signal or sign that your body goes through, but actually that mucus changes, and that variation will let you know different aspects of your body if you're getting closer to ovulating. Then you should, document how long you're on your period. You should document your cycle days. You should also then document all these things. So just take a good look at this graph right here. Again, this graph, I pulled it from fertilityfriend.com, and on the website itself, it goes into great details about it. But I just wanted you to notice, there's a word on the graph that says ovulation. As you can see, there is a spike. That spike lets you know when you ovulated. So again, you track all of your temperatures for the whole 28-day cycles. When you put it into this program on this website, you will be able to see that spike. You won't know that spike has occurred until the next day. When you see that spike, when you plot it on that graph and you see that spike, that means the day before, which is what the arrow is pointing to on this graph, the day before is the day that you ovulated. So cycle day 15 could be when you ovulated. So usually if you have a normal cycle, you can ovulate between cycle day 14 up until, I've heard, even 17 and 18. For me, my cycle day was cycle day 16. I documented that in February, and then when I went back into March and tried to do it all over again, started from cycle day 1, it was consistent and it showed that I ovulate on cycle day. So basically, that was how I was able to figure out what day of my cycle I personally ovulated. Now in March, the fertility specialist also sent me for a routine exam that needed to be performed prior to starting my cycle, which I'm going to say the abbreviation, but above my head will be the long version. I call it's an HSG, which stands for this long thing right above my head. Basically, very short, brief, the definition of it is it's an x-ray of your uterus and of your fallopian tubes. I actually have a photo that I got off the internet. And in this photo, if you notice, basically it's a dye that they inject inside of you through the vaginal canal. And then this dye travels up the uterus and into the fallopian tubes. On the picture on the left side, you will see this is what a normal result will look like. It's basically the dye has traveled up into the fallopian tubes with absolutely no blockage, so they know that nothing is blocking your fallopian tube. And then the picture on the right shows you what an abnormal result would be, that if they shoot the dye up into your uterus and into your fallopian tube, that dye is not able to travel through the fallopian tubes, which is then indicating to the doctor that there's a blockage in your fallopian tube, and that could be one of the reasons why you can't or wouldn't be able to get pregnant. So they would have to do some further testing and seeing how they can help facilitate if you had an abnormal HSG. For me, I had a normal one, so we were able to proceed into April. We are in April, and this is when my wife and I began our first cycle together and trying to have a successful pregnancy. I can't remember the specifics, unfortunately, but basically I remember the fact that originally the fertility specialist wanted me to be on no meds and start a natural cycle, but I was a little bit more persistent. Ladies, you can control your plan. You don't necessarily have to go by what the doctor says. And this, again, this is if you choose to go to a fertility specialist. You do not have to go by what they're saying. What they say is not black and white. You know your body better than anybody else. So I personally wanted to go on Clomid. Clomid is a medication that helps stimulate your ovaries when you're ovulating and helps increases the follicle size of your ovaries. Basically, the larger your follicle is without it being too large. You don't want to overstimulate your ovaries, but you want it to be a certain size so that when you ovulate and it releases into your fallopian tube and you insert the sperm, it has a greater chance of basically fertilizing your egg. So I did about a dosage of 10 milligrams of Clomid. It's usually given between cycle day 3 through 7. So I was on the Clomid. One of the side effects, which I thought was so funny, is that they said that you would become irritable. I did not become irritable at all. I think it's just one of those urban legend myths. But yes, that's all I introduced into my cycle was a 10 milligram dosage of Clomid. I took it through cycle days 3 through 7. There was other blood tests that needed to be performed on certain days of your cycle, just to which is routine. And then also there were several sonograms up until leading to the day that I ovulate, where they're monitoring that follicle size again, which again, the Clomid helps and enhances the size of it. And that's their bag. And then was that brutal 2-week wait, 14 days until you have to go back in and get that pregnancy test done. Was like the hardest
wait of our lives.
Yes. It's actually called DPO, which stands for days past ovulation.
Yeah.
So you have 14 days of DPO. And what, ladies, I'm going to let you know right now, you're going to start wanting to buy every single pregnancy test there is and start testing from like DPO 1 all the way until 14th day.
Yeah, but then you really won't believe it until you actually get the blood work drawn, and then they actually tell you you're pregnant. So
yes, I have started testing on like DPO 9 negative, DPO 10 negative,
yeah.
DPO 11.
Then it was like a faint positive.
Then we had a faint positive. There was faint positive, if you don't know, 2 lines on the pregnancy test, but one is just really light. You actually think you're seeing things. You're not even sure. So then I decided I'm not testing no more. I can't do this. We were stressed.
Very stressed. The
anxious.
whole process is stressful.
The whole process was stressful. But then came DPO 14, where I had to go back in for the blood test in the morning. And then they called me back at 3 o'clock. And then, babe, what were the results?
Positive.
We were pregnant!
We were pregnant.
Yeah, we were pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
And literally, guys, it happened for us on the first try. If it doesn't for you, do not
stop.
Give up.
Yeah,
You
don't
keep
give
going.
up.
You
Keep
keep
going,
going.
yeah.
You keep going. Your positive will definitely come.
Yeah. Don't lose hope.
Don't lose hope. Yeah, definitely don't lose hope. I mean, we definitely didn't take it for granted. 2 years later, almost 2 years later, we have this beautiful, precious thing, and all of it was worth it. It was definitely, I'm going to be honest with you, it's a stressful process.
Yeah.
It definitely, your emotions are very high. The anxiety levels is very high.
Yeah.
It was that high. So basically, guys, that's it. That was our TTC journey. That is how we had Olivia. And if you guys have any more questions, please email us or send us a comment on the bottom of this video if you want to know anything else that maybe I didn't go through or didn't think to go through. So thank you guys so much. That's it. We love you. Say bye, baby.
Mwah.
Say bye. Say bye-bye.
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 Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good girl.
Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Good girl.
Bye, you too.